Have you ever felt like your whole world shifted in an instant? Like everything you once knew suddenly felt unfamiliar? When someone walks away, it's not just emptiness that lingers. It's a storm, a whirlwind of emotions tearing through everything she thought was certain. This is the story of a woman who never imagined she'd be here. But the moment she stopped paying attention, everything began to unravel. In this video, we'll uncover the 10 emotional stages she experiences after you leave. What truly confuses her? And how can this shift actually work in your favor in the emotional game? But before we dive in, if you're drawn to Stoicism and deep life lessons, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. And if this video resonates with you, drop a 1 in the comments. If not, type 2. I'm always listening and looking to improve. Now let's get started. Some powerful truths are about to be revealed. The first shock. When she realizes you're no longer investing in her. Imagine a calm, peaceful sky, then suddenly a bolt of lightning rips through it. The air crackles, the ground trembles, and in that instant, everything changes. That's exactly how she feels when it finally hits her. You're no longer investing in her. At first, she doesn't want to believe it. She brushes it off. Maybe he's just busy. Maybe he's distracted. But deep down, there's an unsettling feeling creeping in, like an itch she can't quite scratch. She was used to being the center of your attention. She knew you cared, that you'd always be there, patient, steady, ready to listen, ready to chase. But now, that certainty is slipping through her fingers like sand, and no matter how hard she tries to hold on to it, it's disappearing. Then, reality slams into her. The messages aren't as frequent, the calls are shorter, your energy feels different, you're not checking in the way you used to. Something is missing, and that's when the panic sets in. The loss of control hits hard. See, what hurts her the most isn't just losing you. It's losing control over the dynamic she thought she understood. Before, she felt secure. She had the upper hand. She knew you cared, that you'd always come back, that no matter what, you were invested. But now, that safety net is gone. Her mind starts racing. Why is he pulling away? Did I do something wrong? Is he losing interest? Or worse, moving on? Am I not good enough anymore? Each question cuts deeper than the last. It's not just about the present. It's about everything she believed in crumbling before her eyes. That confidence, that security, that sense of being irreplaceable, it's all in jeopardy. She tries to hide the chaos inside. On the outside, she'll act like nothing has changed. Maybe she'll even try to mirror your distance, acting indifferent, posting pictures, pretending she's unbothered. But inside, a storm is raging. She starts replaying every moment, obsessing over every detail. Was it something I said? Something I did? She scrolls through old conversations, looking for clues, for signs, for a way to undo what's happening. She might even tell herself, it's fine, he'll come back. But as more time passes, the fear grows. The confidence she once had is shaken. The woman who once felt secure is now questioning everything. She thought she had control, but now she's the one left wondering. And that's the first real crack in her armor. It starts small, a tiny doubt, a moment of insecurity. But from here on out, that crack is only going to grow, sending her down a path of emotional turbulence, self-reflection, and possibly regret. Because when you stop investing in her, you're not just walking away, you're shifting the power dynamic completely, and she's about to feel it more than she ever expected. Stage 2. Denial. When she clings to hope. After the initial shock of realizing you're pulling away, her mind refuses to accept it. It's too painful to believe that something she once felt so sure about is slipping through her fingers. So, she convinces herself that this is just temporary. He's probably just busy. Maybe he's dealing with something and needs space. Everything's fine. He'll come back. He always does. She repeats these thoughts like a mantra, trying to hold on to hope, trying to rewrite reality into something more bearable, even though, deep down, a quiet voice in the back of her mind whispers, "What if this time is different?" But she's not ready to face that yet. Instead, she enters denial, the stage where she fights against what she knows is happening, and she doesn't just sit back and wait. 1. Active denial. When she tries to get your attention. Denial isn't just a mindset, it's an impulse, a desperate need to test the waters, to see if maybe, just maybe, she's wrong. So, she starts looking for signs that you still care, and if she doesn't see them, she creates them. Subtle attempts to pull you back in. The random message, "Hey, I just saw this and it reminded me of you." A casual text, seemingly innocent, but behind it, a hidden plea. Are you still there? Do I still matter? Social media games. She won't reach out directly, but she'll send signals, vague posts, carefully chosen words meant to stir something in you. Such a strange day. Someone who really knows me would understand why. A cryptic message, hoping you'll read between the lines and respond. Profile picture changes and song lyrics. A new, carefully chosen profile picture. Maybe one where she looks her best, subtly reminding you of what you're missing. A sad song posted on her story, one that you once sent her. A deep quote about love, loss, or regret. Anything that might spark a reaction. None of this is accidental. It's a test. She's watching. Will you notice? Will you respond? 2. Passive denial, when her efforts start to feel hopeless. At first, she feels in control. She believes she can pull you back. But when her signals go unanswered, when you don't react the way she hoped, the cracks start to show. Why isn't he responding? He must have seen it. Why isn't he saying anything? Does he really not care anymore? Your silence weighs on her more than any words ever could. She starts checking her phone more often, waiting for that message, some kind of proof that you're still thinking about her. But as the hours, days, or weeks go by, reality becomes harder to ignore. And then the realization finally creeps in. This isn't just a phase. He's not playing hard to get. He's really walking away. Her denial crumbles, and when that happens, she's no longer just clinging to hope. She's facing the pain head-on, and that's when the real emotions begin to take over, leading her into the next stage of this emotional journey. Stage 3. Blame, when she starts looking for answers. Once denial fades, the emotional rollercoaster truly begins, and blame is the next stop. At first, she can't handle the void that's forming inside her. The pain, the confusion. It's too much. So instead of facing it head-on, she looks for an easier way out. And the easiest way? Blame. Blaming you, trying to regain control. At first, she refuses to believe she did anything wrong. Instead, you become the problem. Why is he being so cold? Why did he change so suddenly? He's the one with the issue, not me. These thoughts become a shield, a way to protect her ego, to keep herself from feeling weak. Because if you're the one at fault, then she doesn't have to question herself. She doesn't have to admit that maybe, just maybe, she played a part in all of this. venting to others, searching for validation. She won't keep these thoughts to herself. She'll start venting to friends, looking for reassurance that she was right and you were wrong. Can you believe it? He just stopped caring out of nowhere. I don't get it. I gave him everything, and this is what I get? He's clearly just afraid of commitment. Her friends? Most of them will take her side, feeding her the words she desperately wants to hear. Yeah, he's being such a jerk. You deserve better. Forget about him. He'll regret this. And for a while this soothes her. It numbs the pain. She convinces herself that you're the one who messed up, that she was the prize and you were just too blind to see it. But this stage, it doesn't last forever. Because the truth is, anger is a distraction, and once it burns out, something even worse creeps in. Blaming herself when self-doubt creeps in. At first, it's just a whisper, a quiet thought she tries to push away. But the more she sits with the silence, the more it grows. What if it wasn't just him? What if I pushed him away? Was I too clingy? Did I take him for granted? What did I do wrong? The shift is subtle, but it's there. She stops feeling like the victim and starts questioning herself. Hard. And this is where the pain truly sinks in. Because now the sadness isn't just about losing you, it's about losing confidence in herself. She starts replaying moments in her head. Every conversation, every fight, every moment where she may have missed a sign. The things she brushed off before. Suddenly they feel so much bigger. The times you hinted that you felt unappreciated. The moments where she pulled away, thinking you'd always chase. The times she assumed you'd never leave. And then the terrifying realization hits her. She underestimated your value all along. She always believed you'd be there, that no matter what, you'd keep trying, keep fighting, keep proving yourself. But now she's the one searching for answers. She's the one feeling uncertain. She's the one wondering, did I push away something I actually needed? And that's when you take back control, because for the first time she's not just regretting losing you, she's regretting not appreciating you when she had the chance. And as this realization sinks in, she's about to enter a stage that's even more intense. Because now the pain isn't just confusion or anger, it's pure raw emotion, and that changes everything. Stage 4, overthinking, when she gets trapped in her own mind. After the blame game, she enters an even more dangerous phase, overthinking. This is when her mind becomes a trap, like quicksand, pulling her into an endless cycle of what if, and why did this happen, replaying the past, trying to piece it all together. Every text, every conversation, every tiny expression from you, it all feels like a clue. She starts analyzing everything, searching for signs she might have missed. Did his tone change? Was there something different in his eyes? Did I overlook an important sign? She replays your last interactions over and over, desperately asking herself, when did things start falling apart? Did I do something that pushed him away? The more she searches for answers, the deeper she sinks into her own mind. Obsessively watching you, examining every move under a microscope. Overthinking doesn't just stay in her head, it turns into action. Checking your social media constantly. What is he posting? Who is he liking? Who's interacting with him? Is he online but ignoring my messages? Rereading old messages? She scrolls through past conversations, looking for hidden meanings she might have missed. A once innocent text now feels like an important clue, creating endless scenarios in her head. When she doesn't have answers, her mind fills in the blanks with worst-case scenarios. Does he have someone new? Did he never really love me? Did I unknowingly hurt him? You start taking over her mind more than ever. This phase is dangerous. The more she overthinks, the more she can't stop thinking about you. You don't have to say a word. Your silence is powerful enough. You become the center of her thoughts in a way you never were before. She's trapped in a mental spiral, sinking deeper, and the longer it lasts, the harder it is to escape. Stage 5. Craving validation, the psychological paradox that pulls her in. There's a strange thing that happens when someone feels like they're losing control. They become obsessed with getting it back. At this stage, your absence has left a void, and she's desperate to fill it. But it's not just about missing you. It's about proving to herself that she still has influence over you. She doesn't just want you back. She wants confirmation that you still feel something for her, that she still matters, that she can still affect you. And that's when the real games begin. Now, getting a reaction from you becomes her mission. She won't come out and say it. She may not even fully admit it to herself, but every move she makes is calculated to test you, to see if she can still pull you in. She starts with the small signals, liking your post, but not just any post. She picks one specifically to get your attention, maybe an old one, something meaningful, something that makes you notice. Sending a random message, something harmless on the surface. Hey, do you remember that song we used to love? Just saw something that reminded me of you. But the real message. She wants to see if you'll bite, orchestrating a coincidental run-in, except it's not really a coincidence. She knows where you might be, and she makes sure she's there too, looking her best, waiting to see if you react. Every move is a test, and if you respond, even just a little, it fuels her. She gets a hit of validation. She feels like she still has power over you. But here's the interesting part. The psychological paradox. Why your silence makes her want you more. The less she can have you, the more she wants you. It's a psychological paradox. When something feels out of reach, our minds instinctively assign it more value. Right now, you are that unreachable thing. And the more distant you are, the harder she works to pull you back in. She starts thinking about you more, obsessing over your lack of response, wondering why you're not reacting the way she expected. Your silence becomes louder than words. And this is where your power grows. Why silence is your most powerful weapon. This isn't just about not reaching out. This is about strategic silence, the kind that makes her unconsciously invest more emotions. And once emotions are deeply involved, breaking free becomes nearly impossible. Every unanswered message, every ignored attempt, every moment of uncertainty pulls her deeper into the cycle. She thought she had control. Now, she's the one chasing, and the deeper she falls into this craving for validation, the harder it becomes to let go. Because now, she needs you to need her, and that changes everything. Stage 6. Obsessive self-reflection, when silence becomes a mirror. When a woman realizes you've truly pulled away, she doesn't just feel rejected, she's forced to face a painful truth. She may have played a role in this distance. Now, her mind turns inward. Every action, every word, every shared moment replays in slow motion. She starts asking herself, did I do something wrong? Was I too controlling? Did I take him for granted? These questions haunt her. They keep her up at night, tossing, turning, trapped in an endless loop of memories. She might not want to admit it, but deep down she knows she's partly responsible. A moment of harsh truth. This phase forces her to truly examine herself, her choices, her mistakes, the things she once ignored. And maybe for the first time in a long while, she stops and takes a hard look at who she's been in this relationship. And then the realization hits her. She took your presence for granted. She assumed you'd always be there, that your attention was a given. But now, you're gone. And she can no longer ignore reality. Your silence becomes her mirror. Your absence isn't just something she feels, it's something she sees. She sees what she overlooked, she sees what she dismissed. And now, she finally understands. At this point, it's no longer just about missing you. It's about facing the truth of what went wrong and why. Stage 7, emotional outburst, when she loses control. After all the self-doubt, all the inner turmoil, everything she's been suppressing finally explodes. This emotional wave doesn't hit right away, but when it does, it's intense. Not just for her, but for anyone caught in the storm. At this point, she can't hold back anymore. Frustration, regret, anger, confusion. They all come rushing out, often with tears. In the middle of this emotional whirlwind, she may try to reach out, a long emotional text, pouring out everything she's been holding in. An unexpected phone call, urgent, desperate, raw, or even an attempt to see you in person, because texts and calls aren't enough. But here's what really matters. She doesn't just want to talk. She wants a reaction from you, the need for validation. She needs you to acknowledge her pain, her confusion, her frustration over feeling abandoned. She's not just looking for answers. She's seeking proof that she still matters to you. The power of your silence. If you continue to hold your ground, if you don't give in, her emotional outburst may only grow stronger. She's used to getting a response from you when she's upset, whether it was comfort, reassurance, or even just engagement. But now, that safety net is gone. Your calmness in the face of her storm is both a source of strength for you and a source of frustration for her. And this is where a major shift happens. She starts to realize her emotions no longer control you. The validation and attention she once expected from you, no longer guaranteed. A crucial turning point. For the first time, she has to face her feelings on her own. She no longer has the comfort of knowing you'll always be there to catch her. And sometimes, that's exactly what it takes for real change to happen. Stage 8, nostalgia and longing, when memories become a burden. As time passes, her longing for you grows, not just because of the void your absence left, but because of the deep, undeniable connection you once shared. This is the nostalgia phase, the stage where she starts reliving the happiest moments, the ones that once made her feel alive. She might reread old messages, soaking in every word, reliving the way you used to talk. Look through old photos, missing the smiles, the laughter, the moments frozen in time. Recall deep conversations, the ones only the two of you truly understood. These memories are bittersweet, beautiful yet painful, because they remind her of what she's lost. She wishes, more than anything, that she could turn back time and do things differently. The painful realization. But what's even more significant is this. She realizes she never truly appreciated the relationship until it was gone. Her mind begins to romanticize the past. She focuses only on the good, ignoring the bad. It's an emotional trick, the brain's way of convincing her that everything was perfect, even if it wasn't. Yet, no matter how much she reminisces, one truth remains. She lost something valuable, and the more she gets lost in these thoughts, the deeper the emotional impact becomes. Your absence becomes an obsession. Your absence is no longer just a missing piece of her life. It's becoming an obsession. She misses you more with each passing day, and nothing seems to fill that space. Stage 9. The urge to reconnect, when longing becomes motivation. At some point she reaches a breaking point, the longing, the regret. It all becomes too overwhelming to ignore. She realizes she let something special slip away, and that realization fuels an irresistible urge to reconnect with you. But this is also when her internal conflict is at its peak. She knows she should respect your boundaries. She even tells herself, maybe it's better to let things go. But the desire to fix things, to hold on to what was lost, is too strong to push aside. How she might test the waters. Instead of rushing back recklessly, she moves carefully, looking for any sign that she still has a chance. Asking mutual friends about you, trying to gauge where your head is at, subtly keeping tabs on your social media, searching for clues in your posts, likes and activity, reaching out directly, a simple text, a casual excuse to see you in person. She won't be as bold as before. She knows the dynamic has shifted. You no longer react the way you once did. But what she really wants isn't just a conversation. She wants reassurance. Proof that she still holds some place in your heart. Even the smallest response, a polite text, a kind word, could be enough to rekindle her hope that things could go back to how they were. The defining moment. This is the crucial turning point. If you stand firm, maintaining your boundaries, showing no signs of weakness or hesitation, this could be the final step in her emotional journey. She may finally be forced to accept that it's truly over. But if you respond the way she hopes, if you give her even the smallest bit of validation, her emotions will surge back, and the cycle could start all over again. This is the moment where you decide, does the story truly end, or is it destined to repeat? The final stage, acceptance, when the emotional journey reaches its end. After all the emotional turmoil, the self-doubt, the attempts to reconnect, she finally reaches acceptance. But acceptance doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean the pain simply vanishes. Instead, it's the moment she realizes the past can't be changed, and she must move forward without you, a bittersweet realization. This stage comes with a new sense of clarity, a quiet understanding. She no longer clings to illusions of rekindling what once was. She stops waiting. She stops hoping you'll come back the way she once wished. She lets go, not because she wants to, but because she knows she has no other choice. It's a bittersweet moment. Painful, because she must release her last shred of hope. Peaceful, because she no longer has to fight against the inevitable. Moving forward with strength. Now she starts rebuilding. The endless emotional roller coaster, it's finally over. She learns from this experience, carrying those lessons forward. She chooses differently in future relationships, and most importantly, she begins to truly discover herself. The end of one chapter, the start of another. Acceptance is the final stage of her emotional journey. It isn't easy, but it's necessary. In the end, she moves forward, no longer clinging to the past, but stepping into the future with a stronger heart. From my perspective, distance in a relationship isn't just a loss, it's a test of self-awareness. When a man stops investing emotionally, it doesn't just cause the other person pain, it forces her to face herself. What she feels isn't just sadness over losing someone, it's the emptiness of no longer receiving the validation she once took for granted. But this isn't a power game, it's a journey of growth. A truly strong man doesn't need to prove anything. He doesn't manipulate emotions. He doesn't play mind games. Instead, he simply moves forward. He thrives. He refuses to be bound by the past. Because in the end, it's not about who misses who more. It's about who truly grows from the experience. When you stop seeking validation from others and instead find value within yourself, that is real maturity. In summary, when she realizes you're no longer investing in the relationship, an emotional roller coaster begins. At first, she denies reality, convincing herself this is just temporary, that you'll come back. She sends subtle signals, hoping to regain your attention. But when you don't respond like before, the sense of losing control grows even stronger. Your silence isn't just an absence, it's a mirror. It forces her to confront everything she once ignored or took for granted. Frustration builds. She starts searching for someone to blame, whether it's you or herself. Her mind spirals into overthinking, replaying old memories, desperately trying to piece together where things went wrong. But the more she searches for answers, the more lost she feels. Without a response from you, her craving for validation intensifies. She may attempt to reconnect, not just for closure, but to prove she still matters to you. But by this point, the balance of power has shifted. If you stand firm in your boundaries, she slowly comes to a painful but necessary realization. There's no going back. And after all the turmoil, she finally reaches acceptance. She stops waiting, stops hoping, stops seeking confirmation from you. This doesn't mean she forgets you. It means she understands that holding on to the past no longer serves her. And this is the moment of true growth. When she learns from the experience, when she shifts her perspective, when she embarks on a new journey, one where you are no longer the center. I'm grateful you've walked this journey with me. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe to Stoic Station, and turn on notifications, so you never miss a lesson that helps you live with more calm and resilience. Every bit of support from you is a step forward on the path of self-mastery. This is how we grow together, spreading powerful, insightful perspectives. What's on your mind? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. Let's build a community of strong, unwavering minds together. Don't wait. Your journey to self-mastery starts now.